Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, my fellow YouTubers. Welcome to another edition of Air Sky Rita Lee's video blog. Good morning. So, I want to check before we start. If you're new to the channel, hit the like, subscribe, thumbs up button. If you're coming back, welcome. So, I'm going to go through school is in session, the comments. First, I'm going to go through the comments. The comments are very important to me, so I want to tell you guys a couple things. Tildor says, give me a stimmy meaning stimulus check. Things are getting tough. Prep like you have a pair. Okay, peeps, put the beer down and get prepping. Well, I did put the beer down. All right. School is in session, and Rita's got this. Shout out to the lovely Zoe. And a special hello to Chloe. Rita's the best in the business. Well, thank you. Today, I want to tell you a story. Two stories. Let me close this so we have no more problems like we did last night. All right. So, World War III is getting real. Now, Mama Pee Wee might be right. We might be going to war with China first. But I want to cut all the red tape this morning and tell you what's going on. Now, here's the deal. We have a problem between my in-home issues to what's going on in the world. We have to deal with the issues of what's going on in the morning. So, Higgins brought something to my attention last night, and that is Russian submarines off the coasts of East Coast, West Coast, or
I got it.
noisy little shit this morning, isn't she? Anywho, so let me just cut to the BS, okay? So we have a situation, a big situation. Higgins gave me some information last night. Came over out of Newsmax, all right? But apparently between Newsmax and the rest of Google, supposedly, I'm not going to give you any misinformation. This is just Higgins' observation. But apparently the report of Russian subs off the coast of Hawaii, supposedly Guam, Puerto Rico, the East Coast, the West Coast, Alaska, apparently was scrubbed. All right. So he's been trying to dig up some information. Now, I, of course, was testing out a video game last night on the computer. So I was actually taking some small steps, baby steps, to learn this new game. And so to me, as a prepper, when I play games, it's usually farm sim games. But I got into one called a crafting game where you craft your own stuff. But we're not here to talk about the game, okay? You guys want to know about it? Well, it's on my computer here. All right. The next situation that we have, which is pretty bad, is that China this morning has made idle threats. Now, I'm going to give you the report to China, okay? Basically, China has made some pretty big stipulations, right? So this guy who's the ambassador to America from China made some threats. So made some threats, all right? And China basically said, if the United States wants to keep pushing the narrative you know. And then, another thing is NATO must decide on permanent military forces to protect the Baltic. That's a German minister says. You know, so to me, I think that all these people, they sit there. I'm trying to find the report. It's kind of hard, but I want to make sure you guys, might be this. So apparently, here's some. Here, oh, yes, okay. So apparently, this guy here. There it is. China's ambassador to the U.S. built a reputation for being careful and accomplished diplomat while overseas. But he struck a far more combative tone in the first appearance as foreign minister at China's annual preliminary meeting, warning of the catastrophic consequence of what he described as reckless gamble by Washington and how it treats its fellow superpower. Really? Well, let's see. If I was Xi Jinping, all right, and I'm not. First of all, if he wants to be a superpower, I call him President Xi Jackasso. Right. So I will read you this report. I got another one that might be interesting to you as well. The United States does not hit its brakes, but continues to speed down the wrong path. Oh, yeah, you're telling a sovereign nation what to do. No amount of guardrails can prevent derailing. Yeah, well, you know what? And there will be surely conflict and confrontation. National People's Congress. You know what the problem is with China? They're all fucking rattling their saber. They're like, oh, if you don't do this, there'll be a catastrophe. Really? You're going to fire nukes on us? Because the United States has more nukes than China. We could just freaking level the playing field. Russia and China would be basically, quote unquote, radioactive. And I don't think the American people want a fight with China or Russia. All right. I'm an American. Okay. I can speak from my own experience. And most of you people are the same. You don't want to fight. We don't want to fight. It's all about the leaders. Okay, now I'm not going to sit there and give you misinformation. I'm just telling you, a lot of people don't like the leaders. One set likes Trump, another set likes Biden. I don't like either of them. And I have my own reasons because each party is a complete bunch of hootenannies and they like to bamboozle people. At the high scripted event, tone of China's foreigner, this is Quinn, bearing U.S. for rising bilateral tensions and defending Beijing's close. Oh, really, really, really? They're just saying, oh, don't supply weapons. Really? You know what? Thing is we shouldn't be supplying Ukraine. We should not be supplying Ukraine. NATO should. Let NATO basically empty their coffers. We can't even support our own homeless people. Huh. And I'd like to make a thorough statement here, too. Tuesday, Quinn accused the U.S. of overacting its response, which said created a diplomatic crisis. Oh, yes. Supposedly, we shot down a weather balloon that they claim is a spy balloon. You see, they're using the spy balloon pretense. Again, my own personal opinions and thoughts, not misinformation, so take it with a grain of salt. I'm warning you now. The spy balloon is, quote unquote, what they want to trigger to go to war, in my humble opinion. U.S. perception of view of China is seriously distorted in regards to China's primal rival and the biggest geopolitical challenge. Really? The U.S. claims it seeks to compete with China, but does not seek conflict. Well, really, the problem is Americans want to work. They don't want to buy Chinese-made half-ass crap that breaks. In regards to China as the U.S. claims seek to compete. Yeah, okay, but really, so-called competition by the U.S. all-around containment suppression. Really? We want to suppress China? No. You know what we want? I think if I was freaking president, I would tell Xi Jinping that we're building factories in America, we're going to be self-sufficient, and he can go and sell his crap to other countries. Now, if other countries follow our suit, then we would be out of debt faster because we'd have our factories paying for, etc. A zero-sum game of life and death. We're not playing life and death. He's sitting there going, "Oh, catastrophe, catastrophe." Yeah, well, you really want to freaking do it? The United States could fucking nuke anyone if they want, but the United States ain't striking first. You see, the end of the world will happen when two superpowers, most likely, my own humble opinion again, will fire nukes on America. And then America will fire their nukes, and America will fire their other nukes. And by the time they try to get first strike, the entire country and the planet will be obliterated because three people, won't basically lower themselves down to using them. They think if they can't, if the U.S. use it, the U.S. didn't know the devastation and power, I don't think, of the atomic bomb. Containment and suppression will not make America great, and the U.S. will not stop rejuvenating. Oh, really? You know what? The entire world could stop rejuvenating China by saying we're going to basically make our own stuff. Fuck you. Go to the fucking Stone Age because you want to be a communist peckerwooded party. Problem is, you got two problems here. You got fucking Russia wanting to expand its land, a territorial takeover of Europe. And if supposedly Russia can't get that. Oh, and by the way, I do want to say a couple things, okay? I'm not going to offend Mama Pee-wee at all, but I have my own gut feeling on something. The great power rivalry between the U.S. and China has intensified in recent years. Foods to counter the West, and Washington has pushed back under the Biden administration. Yes, this is where I was going to go with this. The U.S. has shored up ties with allies and partners to contain Beijing's rising influence. Oh, really? We're sharing up, huh? Yeah. That's really good. Potato Head doesn't know what the hell he's doing. He's basically trying to cause civil World War III and a nuclear war so we don't have to pay our debt. And that's just my humble opinion. Again, it's not misinformation when it is just my humble opinion. Okay, so see, look, no Cold War should be repeated in Asia. No Ukrainian style crisis should be repeated in Asia. China's refusal to condemn Russia for invasion of Ukraine and its growing partnership with Moscow further strained its relations with the West, while Beijing has sought to cast a neutral peace broker. Oh, really? What's next? He's going to sit there and say, oh, well, we're going to broker with Russia. We're going to give them Moldova and Estonia. They march into any NATO countries. It's an act of war, basically, against all 30 countries. And everyone around will clean their clocks, okay? Sino-Russian does not pose a threat to any country in the world. Really? That's interesting. You want to basically give Ukrainian land to a freaking Russia, right? The more unstable the world becomes, the more imperative it is for China and Russia to steadily advance their relations. Yeah, because they want to be the world's, and when China is tired of Russia, they'll just march in and take Russia for themselves. Chinese Communist Party claims self-governing democracy of Taiwan as part of its really. As soon as Taiwan came out and started making massive chips and computer chips, this is why they want to control the computer chips. Tuesday, Quinn urged the U.S. not to interfere in China's internal affair and question Washington different over Ukraine and Taiwan. You know what the problem is? Problem is the United States wants to kick China's ass. The United States wants to kick Russia's ass. And I'll tell you why. I mean, the bigger dogs, not me. And you know what it is? It's because they're tired, of politics. And then it goes on about McCarthy visit or whatever, Yeah. So then, that's the thing. The point is, we're going to see a lot of crap happening. Now, let me just see this for a second, okay? Yeah. So apparently the stock market went down almost 400 points, by the way, but yeah. Okay, let me see here. So it's basically, um well, so basically they're trying to get the Chinese Communist Party back in the in its fold. So let me just tell you what's going on. All right. So basically, with Russia supposedly, as Hagen said, having nuclear subs off our coast, that tells you got to prep and you need to buy your potassium iodide. Now, people have been emailing me saying, hey, what's going on with how many bottles you need. Well, you only take it as needed. So if you have one bottle, you should be fine. If you have 2 bottles, you're great. If you have an entire family, get 4 bottles or 8 bottles. But don't skimp right now. This thing, you can't skimp. Can't skimp on anything due to the fact that the problem is what it is. That's the thing. Are you really going to look at this? Yeah, they scrubbed the whole thing about Russia's subs. Yeah. They don't want you guys to know what's going on because they think, there's a lot of people out there that hope like hell. They're hoping like hell that you, the people, will not know. Unfortunately, you, the people, will know. And that is why there's a lot of problems right now in this world. In this world, the American people need to realize we live in a world where you got to prep. I mean, think you got Russia basically turning around and literally barking orders. You got China threatening. China threatening, mind you, threatening severe catastrophic events. That tells you right there what you need to know. I mean, look. Now, what I said about Mama Pee-wee, okay. The thing is I got a bad feeling, okay, a real bad feeling, that 2024 is not going to make a damn good difference. It's going to be Biden over DeSantis. I don't think Trump's going to lead, and I'm afraid to say this because me and Mama Pee-wee, she's a great gal. My point is I'm not going to basically be a little Trump. All I'm saying is I don't think he can stand a chance due to the fact of what's going on with the mainstream media. I'm starting to get very disgusted with the mainstream media. And he says, I could stop World War III. No, you can't, because what if World War III is already done and nuclear war happens by the end of the year? I'll tell you what the government's trying to do. I think this is my own personal opinion. It isn't misinformation. Okay, I'm giving you my own personal opinion, my own gut feeling. Okay. I think they're trying to basically drum up nuclear war. Nuclear war happens, there's no elections. Everyone's in a bunker. Biden gets to stay in until he's whatever, and then Harris takes over, and then whatever. And, remember, the nuclear bomb's half-life is 35 freaking years, all right? 35 years. That people would be, what do you call it? Nuclear bunker dwelling. They'd be a bunker dwelling hermit. Now you can sit there and say, Rita. No, this is the truth. If they could cause the entire world banking collapse to happen, think about it this way. Hold on. I'm going to turn that off before it overboils. I just turned it down to medium, okay? It's still
I'll turn it back.
It's already boiling.
I understand, but I got to boil another pot.
Turn it up again. How many pots are you boiling today?
4.
What, you need 4 pots?
Make it warm enough, because then I can just run the bath water in there afterwards.
Here, let me move this.
I'll make it. Just go.
Did you put the drain down already?
What's that?
Don't worry about it. Don't forget the vent.
What?
The vent.
Yes, it's being vented.
Alright, whatever. Anyway, bottom line is, people, my gut feeling is if they can bankrupt the country before the elections, more to them. Then there's no money to basically even fund elections. Therefore, they could cut out everyone that doesn't mean anything to them, and only 90% of the people in this country, in my personal opinion, would die. Now, the other alternative is nuclear war. Everyone holds up somewhere in a hole for 35 years. Then what? No elections. You see where I'm going with this? So, point is, Americans around need to realize that, sorry, rushing a bit, that the American people need to realize that it's not going to get any easier. It's going to get worse. And because of it, yeah. So it's going to get worse. And worse is bad. And bad is bad. And this is why I keep telling you to prep. You need basic food, water, shelter, potassium iodide tablets. Everything else is luxury. Let me tell you a story. Last night, Higgins decided to literally test out his ham radios. Apparently, he claims he can use the radio frequencies. It's not on the ham bands. Oh, are you certain? But he did break the law, he admitted, on the GMRS because he doesn't have a license. He doesn't give a shit. Well, the government's not going to arrest me. Really? This is what's going on to our country. I'll tell you what is going on in our country. Okay, you got two sides of people. You got people like me that don't believe in any parties, but they don't like to break. They don't break. The law breaking is not good. Then you have the other side of the country where they don't give a shit as long as they can get what they want and only what they want, and that means breaking laws that suits them. To me, think of what's going on. There's too many people out there breaking laws and other people trying to do whatever, and they think they're not going to get caught. But the main problem is prepping. Prepping is the key. Okay. Oh, well, if shit hits the fan, we got to be in trouble. When shit hits the fan, we don't know how bad the radiation is going to be around the country. It could dissolve your radios. Your radios could not work. I've said this time and time again. The problem is you must prepare for the worst. That's the truth. I get up in the morning, half out of it and tired. And yet, what am I hearing from people or emails from people? Well, a lot. Oh, well, how many potassium? I put Higgins on the research on that. How many bottles does one need? You see, Higgins should have the report for me today. But I, on the other hand, am getting to the point where I'm tired and wore out due to the fact that so anyways, my point being, my friends, is you guys got to prep. I mean, think about it. Higgins brings this up to me last night while I was testing a game out. A lot of people say, oh, you want to do this, you want to do that. Well, I'll find out, you know. There's also a lot of problems going on in this world with greed. And that's the thing. You got too many preppers out there prepping away And, but what I was going to say is you got all these people, right? They say, oh, the Republican Party will keep us out of war. 2024 is a long ways away, and 2025 is a long ways away for elections. If we live that long and we don't get nuked, then I'll have more faith in politics. But right now, I don't have faith in politics. I'm not bankrolling in politics. I think they're trying to destroy us by putting us in a war that we can't win from either China or Russia. We may all launch our nukes, but at the end, we all die. Maybe that's God's plan. He's tired of the corruption. He's tired of the lying con mans of the world's conning people. Maybe he's upset at things. Maybe he's saying that old worthless eaters need to die. I don't know. All I can tell you is it disgusts me to no end that you got two factions basically worshipping something when we have a bigger problem right now, which is nuclear war. I mean, literally, Donald Trump came out the other day and said, oh, yeah, something, no misinformation, something to do with if I was in there, we won't go to World War III. Well, that might be true, but you're not president. And two is, it might push us to the escalation. People just sit there and say, oh, we got to vote him in, right? The other party's going to do everything they can. They're going to try to indict him. When that doesn't work, they're going to let this country go to war. And when it goes to war, usually the president that's incumbent will basically, literally will win. Literally. So to me, or he can have the banking collapse and World War III and laugh and say, oh, well, you have nothing in you. Maybe what Biden was saying, and then again, it's not misinformation when he said, you'll have nothing and be happy. Maybe he's talking about we'll all be in heaven. And God's going to judge us all and be like, oh, yes, literally. I hear enough crap as is, okay? And yet, I'm not for Donald Trump. I'm not against Donald Trump. I'm neutral. But my opinion is, and this is just something I've been watching and reflection, that's something I wanted to share with you. As I'm reflecting and worried about politics to a point, is how far will they push us till we are thoroughly and completely barbecued. Think about it. The American people need to realize how much are you going to see. That's the thing. I love all of you. You guys know this. You guys know this more than anything in the world. But there's a time and place for everything. And as Tildor would say, right now the time is not, and I repeat, not. You hear this, all these people saying, oh, January 6th was a peaceful protest, blah, blah, blah type thing, and Fox is leaking this and that. I don't care. I don't care if it's peaceful. I don't care. What I care about is what the hell's going on in this country. And that is what they're doing. Look, they've arrested over 1,000 people for insurrection. Oh, wow. Yeah, and then you hear all these freaking Democrats going, oh, well, they need to put Donald Trump in the jumper. If it happens, it happens. There's nothing we can do about it. The American people can't just do what they want, okay? They can't just sit there and say, oh, we're going to lock and load, hypothetically, and go take care of our Lord and Savior, or whatever, or whatever they think, Trump is. To me, it ain't going to happen. The army will just mow them down. The problem is the American people are seeing a lot of problems in this country. A lot of problems. You got people like DeSantis trying to, quote unquote, take over, in my opinion. And I'll tell you, if I had to choose between Ron DeSantis, all right, and Donald Trump in a head-to-head over Biden, okay, and I was voting Republican, okay, I usually tell you the day or two after I vote, okay, I would probably choose Donald Trump in the entire mixture because I'll tell you, in my opinion, I don't trust DeSantis with all his fucking laws. People think he's greater than Donald Trump and Swiss cheese. At least Donald Trump did certain things, but at the same time, Ron DeSantis is making it worse, in my opinion. And that is where I think it's totally wrong. But then again, my freedom of speech says, look, we'll see what happens. Literally, I just don't trust the wacky Ron anyways because it's not his time. If we had to choose between Biden and Trump, Well, I can literally tell you outright, President Potato Head and the Democratic Party, in my humble opinion, is causing you guys to prep more. And it's not right. But think about it, my fellow preppers. Me, I'm not a Ron fan. Everything I see about him. Now I don't support, okay? This is where I draw the line as preppers, okay? I don't talk about politics. What I talk about in general is prepping. But I will tell you that there's a lot of crap coming down the pipe soon, I think. And it's not just our country, it's the entire world. And this is why I'm trying to get you prepped. Because, frankly, you got too many people saying they're doing this in the name of Jesus. And you got other people saying our rights come first. Yeah, okay. It feels like our country is going down the wrong rabbit hole. And I'm going to say this as a prepper only. I love my country dearly. I will defend my country. But I won't defend a country's politics, I should say, politics, when they want to put us in a nuclear or a banking collapse. That is something I want to share with you all. With the stock market going down almost 400 points today, has anyone seen the whole thing with Powell? Powell's trying to basically make it so unemployment's high. This is my own opinion and not misinformation. Unemployment high. And he's going to raise the thing. He thinks raising the debts will lower inflation. It's not raising the debt. Let me tell you, the more he raises the things for financing, the more it's going to cripple this entire economy. I've said this time and time again. My own opinions, not misinformation. Why do I say this? Well, think about it. Every time you turn around, the price of eggs are going up. I mean, remember the other day I was complaining, right? My dad said to me, "Oh, you complain too much." That's what he said last night. I got finally out of it, and I called him a jackass. And he says, "Well, you need hearing aids because you need to basically quit complaining." Really? I got to quit complaining, right? Well, let me tell you, as a God-given American, have you noticed toilet paper has gone down in price in places? Yeah. Sorry about that. I'm kind of getting a little irritated this morning. It's not your guys' fault. Anyways, it's right here. It's not your guys' fault, but let me put it to you this way. There's a lot of problems in this world. And by the way, my oven is failing. If you want me to complain about that, I will. The management company thinks I can eat cold everything. The stove coil's failing, and they replaced it what was it, 12 months ago or something? No, it was 18 months ago. No, 18 months ago or so. No, 15 plus months ago. They it's like,
Oh, there's some water boiling.
So, for example, all right, Federal Reserve turns around, you preppers, and they're trying to cripple the American people. They're trying to kill the American people slowly with high food prices. I literally placed an order online for food. Why? Because it was so expensive to do it at the grocery store. Remember what I said the other day, right? $14.69 for this little bag of coffee. Most coffee is $12 to $15 in the grocery store, unless you can get generics. You know what the funny thing was about the generic? They didn't have any in stock. Yeah, trust me. They're taking all the generics. Everyone's living on generics and leaving the most expensive it for the people that. So I had to place an order for coffee online. That's a prepper's thing. Secondly, they charge me $7 for a box of mac and cheese when I can spend $14 plus tax and get 12 boxes. I ordered more mac and cheese. Dry powder lasts longer. I mean, think of it. Literally $7. This is usually $7.50. But apparently, this was on sale. Think about it. Then, on top of it all, you have better cheddars. I made better cheddars last night for dinner. Higgins recommended it. He doesn't have any in stock. You know what I found? $3.50. It took 45 minutes to heat the oven. Then it was cold in the middle. I had to reheat it for another freaking 20 minutes plus because it wasn't hot enough. That tells you right there the stove is literally failing again. Yeah. And they claim it needs to be cleaned. Right. Then they're charging nearly $6 for milk. So 8 items, $56. Where's the inflation? So mac and cheese and Spam, dinner for 2 nights. Better cheddars, dinner for 2 nights. 4 nights of food. They charged me $25, people, for a block of cheese. Yeah. And then Higgins says, "Oh, savor the cheese." You think I'm not savoring the cheese? I sit there and I get the driest white sharp cheddar and I enjoy it bite by bite. I could cut a chunk like this, right? And I could sit there and savor every moment of it. Yeah. And yet, the American people don't realize that right now the stock market's going down because the Federal Reserve wants to raise it up as high as possible between now and 2024 so we can get a Republican in office. That's just my opinion. Don't misinformation there and do that. He's going to make it so it hurts the country. This is my version of gerrymandering, in my opinion. But we're also getting higher pricing in foods on the other spectrum of the system due to the fact that President Potato Head is literally making us pay more for a stupid war. So it's 50-50 in my opinion. That's why I don't trust either party. They have their own agendas. Me, I don't trust. That's the thing. And then have Ukraine, having China telling us to keep our nose out of Ukraine. Well, why don't you keep your damn fucking nose out of Ukraine too, you fucking little assholes? Because think of this. If it wasn't for Ukraine going to the frickin' NATO and begging for frickin' stuff and the and the European Union, we wouldn't be in this damn mess. We're not part of the United Nations. We should be supporting them. In the end, we're the ones that's going to be suffering. Plain and simple. Americans, think about it. We're depleting our ammo, depleting this. Look, if we're going to be supporting Ukraine, at least the taxpayers should be getting gasoline for 59 cents a gallon. That's my opinion. I mean, literally. Plus the fact that the American people need to realize that we need to have, quote unquote, the American people have more workers. I mean, look, Amazon decided they're going to cut corners. They're going to cut corners so much to make profit. That means, right? Let me just tell you a story. That means that Amazon, right, turns around Amazon turns around, peeps, and they cut corners. And when they're doing it, they're putting the crappiest, as Mama Pee Wee would say, and the shittiest customer service on us. Order Amazon. Chloe ordered on Thursday night when payday came. 2 blankets. I think it was Thursday night or Friday. It was Friday. Because we didn't, Friday we had that thing. So I don't remember. It was Friday, I think it was. And anyways, I can look it up. She orders 2 blankets and a 6-piece oven mitt and hot pot holder set, right? She's buying with journals next. Guess what? It's due in tomorrow. So it's got a 24-hour travel time from Idaho. Came out of an Idaho warehouse. Why? Simple. Because Amazon's making peckerwood and delaying it. They say it's that items like this, even though their opinion is we're in pandemic, it's still pandemic rules, they're basically processing food for us. They figure everyone wants food. They're not going to want other items. Everything is non-discretionary, right? So if you buy something, they'll delay it unless you're in a major city. Then they might speed it up a bit. But if you live out in rural sticks, 8 to 10 days minimum, and it's going to get worse. It's like the other day I was browsing the mail, and our mail's getting delayed slower and slower. So to me, you gotta keep on prepping, and you gotta make sure. And I'm gonna break down something for you, okay? If you order on Friday, it usually ships Tuesday or Thursday. If you order on Sunday, it usually ships Friday to Monday. Think about it. And I'm talking about Friday to Monday. So anyway, look at it there. Shitty processing times is getting worse. Amazon used to have their order shipped within 12 hours. Now it's shipping in 5 days. They claim it's processing time. They're getting worse as a mail order company. The only reason why I use them, as I told Chloe, is because they deliver. Otherwise, I'm not paying $56 for 8 items. It's time for us to keep on prepping. Your best course right now is to buy. Remember my little lesson I taught you guys the other day: discretionary versus mandatory. Mandatory pot holders, that might be every 10 or 20 years, or when you get a hole in it, you buy new ones. That's mandatory. Potassium iodide tablets, mandatory. Water, mandatory. Food, mandatory. Can't live without food. And yet, it is what it is. But blankets, mandatory. Underwear and socks, mandatory. Shirts, mandatory. Pants, mandatory. Other things, not mandatory. You see, countries of the world think that cell phones are mandatory. Cell phones are a luxury item. Computers, luxury items. TVs, luxury items. Everything's that's not mandatory. You see, everyone is competing with everyone else and trying, quote unquote, think about it. You guys got to keep on prepping. If Higgins' report's right, and they scrubbed it, That tells you what you need to know. Let me tell you a story, okay? It's not misinformation, it's a story. The other day, Higgins and I was talking about the government. Now, you know how it is. You got the Romans, you got the Romans, you got the Greeks, all these government officials taxing, and then people say, in the Jesus time, can't trust the government. Well, Higgins says, oh, you can't trust the government. Well, guess what? If you're using you can't trust the government card, that means you can't trust the Democrats or the Republicans because each party has their own agenda. One party wants to wipe out, let's just say, hypothetically, transgenderism, same-sex marriage, Christians, Buddhists, Hindus, Arabs, whatever, Chinese, Russians. Now, let me just say, the other party, they want to wipe out homeless, poors, what everything else goes on and on, back and forth. And then the other ones want to give the freebies, the handouts, everything else. So, and, you got to ask yourself, let me tell you this. This is my opinion. The government shouldn't be paying for everything. Yeah. Now there's a lot of people complaining. Oh, which reminds me, tomorrow, I think it is, early morning, I will have to call the welfare office again because I did try again, and I was number 2 minute wait time, and then they said volume calls are high. It seems the government is really screwing over people. Yeah. And a lot of people are complaining and calling up the welfare office, complaining about no food stamps, no extensions. Government doesn't owe you a handout. The government doesn't owe you a handout. A lot of these people, they don't want to work. A lot of these people are complaining about their insurance or their food costs being up. Let me put it this way. As I said earlier, school is in session. If you want to complain about food pricing, medicine pricing, start cutting corners. Start cutting your freaking corners. Yeah. Think of it this way. Start cutting corners. I heard the other day, don't say it's misinformation, it's a rumor, that StreamYards are now losing money every month because people are going and trying to use the YouTube live feature so they don't have to pay StreamYards anymore because of costs at $25 a month. They think they can cut that out. Oh, good for you, cut it out. There's other people cutting out Netflix. Oh, Netflix is now charging my extra family members $8 a month. I'll just get rid of them, right? And what happens if Netflix crumbles, right? Netflix says, oh, well, we were just trying to milk the cash cow. And said the American people fought back and said no. And then once Netflix goes away, Hulu says, oh, we're going to charge $10 per additional account. People start pushing back, saying no. Then Hulu falls. And then they're absorbed into some other program. And eventually, you're going to see the streaming service get narrower and narrower. Why? Because greed's sucking it up. And some people are going to just cut these corners anyways and not pay. I heard one person say they terminated the service completely, and then they were being charged still because they got a new card. And yet, they finally challenged and said, your company's stealing from me because I canceled outright. And the company wouldn't refund their money. So they're taking, rumor has it, I had the same happen to me. I literally challenged Apple. Apple only gave me $8 back. Turned around, kicked them in the ass. And what happened? So many people stopped going through Apple because they don't like Apple's 9 billion security features where if you get screwed over, they don't care. I won't support Apple. I refuse to support Apple. I don't support Microsoft either when it comes to, they're like, oh, you need to buy Office if you want this work. No, I don't. I can just use LibreOffice, transfer everything I need and use it still, or Open Office. There's programs out there, as I told Zoe once, you can cut corners to the point of saving a lot of money. Same with Google Voice. You can use an old phone, set it up with Android, and use Google Voice directly on it. Saves you money. And there's cord cutting savings. The other day, Dad was talking to me about um, cutting $75 out of his budget for Hulu because they want to raise it to like $80 a month plus tax with live stream. He doesn't want to pay $80. He says, if I want to pay $80, I'll go to cable. He's looking at other options. In the meantime, do you really need live TV? No. If I want live TV, I'll just turn on Peacock. It costs me and Chloe $10 a month. We can get live TV on NBC. And Chloe likes NBC, by the way. But why don't we do it? Because the news bores us all. And so, as the wheel turns, the American people need to realize that you got to start cutting corners. Like I told Chloe, you can either spend $7, by the way, bag of chips are almost $7 now, or you can cut out your snacks. I personally would rather cut out the snacks and live healthier than pay $7 for a bag of chips. I mean, think of it this way. The other day I was looking at hot dogs. Basic bag of hot dogs is almost $8 a pack now. I mean, maybe it's where we live, but, I do check Walmart from time to time. I keep hinting at Chloe, Point being, my fellow Americans, is you got to think about cord cutting. Cord cutting is the way to go, plain and simple. Sometimes you need to cut corners. And that's something you're going to have to make the decision on. Perhaps get it done. You're going to have to slowly cut out your services one by one. If you're not using a service, cut it. I've already cut out 5 already. And I'm about to cut some more because I don't want to pay. Not because I want to. It's because, unless you have a use for certain channels, I mean, literally, plain and simple. You can find a lot of stuff for free if you know what you're looking for. That's the problem. And if you're not going to basically utilize certain things, cut corners. Literally, it'll do you a world of good. More money in your pocket. Plain and simple. And in the end, we all survive. We all survive a lot easier. I don't support either party, but I think either party is going to drive this country in the ground. One party or the other. That's my feeling. And you know what? I'll tell you what. Even though I'm a prepper, I have to stand by the Republican Party more than the Democratic Party due to the fact that our taxes are wasting money on free sex changes, food stamps for baby poppers. And yet, we're being pushed into war. We don't have boots on the ground yet, but I guarantee we will before 2025 happens. There's nothing, and I mean nothing, that can be done. No offense to Tildor if he's watching this, but I think the point of no return has happened. I mean, every day, media, that's the thing. Now, in my opinion, it's just what I think. That's what I think. I think, therefore, I'm worried. Worried about you all. That's the thing. High inflation. No one's telling us any news about it. They're just saying the stock market keep going down and down and down, I mean, what is it? 375. So it went up a bit. Now it's going down again. Let's see what the news says about stock market real quick. Higher. Hold on. Higher. What is it saying? Higher rates for longer. Oh yeah, higher rates. Okay. So it's basically saying, yeah. So that means everything's going up, which that's the case. Let's see what happens with So let me see here. Yep. So as soon as the stock market went down, prices went up. Okay. On commodities, food went up. Everything went up. Yeah. So let's just check the buy it now program, the thing, right? So let's see here. Ramen went up. Mac and cheese went up. Coffee went up. Snacks went up. Soups went up. There you go, people. You heard it from me. Wow. Even the planners went up. See? The non-commodities that you don't really need and your food items have went up. That tells you right there what you need to know, my fellow people. Think about it. Chew on it. Price of stuff went up. People have to cut corners. Builders have to cut corners. Repair people have to cut corners. Everyone's got to cut corners. When's it going to end? Point is, everyone's got to cut corners. But no one wants to. You see, there's a lesson to be learned here. And that lesson is you're going to have to start cutting corners. You're going to have to start using generics if you can find them. Everything happens for a reason. Hell, I'm cutting Moppy's snacks in thirds. $7 for a bag of treats. He gets it in thirds now. Hell, I bet he even feels the pinch. Oh, yes. No, you got a little left. You don't have to. I don't have to feed him yet. So, my point being is, think about it. You have to cut corners. You're gonna have to start making decisions. Will Christmas be good? Will Christmas be bad? Will birthdays be good? Will birthdays be bad? Tildor made a joke. Would like a stimmy. First, I had to think about it. I mean, stimulus checks, but everyone would love a stimulus. They keep pestering for more. Oh, the economy's bad. We need more. Really? Truth's in the pudding, people. You don't need a stimulus check. You need to prep and work. If you're not willing to work, you're not willing to eat. You're not willing to eat, you're not willing to prep. If you're not willing to prep, you're willing to die. Frankly, main reason we're prepping is for inflation, but secondary is for emergencies and weather anomalies like we've suffered in this country, not including hurricanes, snowstorms, earthquakes, flash floods, tornadoes, dry lightning storms, radiation. Everything happens for a reason. And that's why I'm telling you, this isn't just about high cost of food. It's about prepping now before your food gets 3 times the amount of money, 4 times. Mama Pee Wee told me a story once. It was recently, actually. It touched my heart. So the other day, she was telling me, Chloe said, oh, I can relate. She went to McDonald's. Instead of getting anything off the dollar menu, they've raised it to like $3 for a cheeseburger. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm not paying $3 for a cheeseburger. The other day, I asked Chloe, you're going to town? Oh, yeah. I'm talking here. So what happened? I told her to pick me up.
Pick you up, something.
She said, no, not going to kill your heart. What I wanted a sausage square pizza from Little Caesars. Instead of being like $8, now it's like $17 for a square pizza. Think about it, people. Price of food just to go out is expensive. The other day, I told Chloe there was a limited edition. She should have went to Mount Vernon. She could have stopped and tried the new like ghost pepper burger from Arby's. They discontinued it, it was limited edition.
They should make Reaper burgers.
I don't think anyone would sign the waiver for a Reaper burger, sorry to say. My point being is medicine's going up. Food is going up. It's time for you guys tighten your bootstraps and start making concessions for you and your family to survive. A lot of people don't want to survive. They want it to be over so they can be in heaven. Thing is you got to have the desire and the discipline to keep on prepping. Last night, I was on the phone to Higgins. I was doing spreadsheets while doing my thing with Higgins. Yeah. Why? Because I could. Why? Because I wanted to. Point being, it was what I wanted to do. So, My point to you guys is this. I want you guys to stay strong, be happy, and cut corners when you can. It's not going to get any easier. But if Russian subs are off the coast, we have to think about that as a news article. If China's threatening us, we have to take that into account. You can't rely on the government people to walk away. You can't rely on a red wave or a blue wave to save your ass. It's your job to save your own ass. Government's already got bunkers set up for them. You're not welcome in there unless you're a government official. Otherwise, only the elite will survive. Then what happens when the elite doesn't have any workers? Think about it. The American people will suffer. So in the meantime, I want you guys to think about that. You guys got to prep. I think you still have a little time before the crap hits the fan. In the meantime, I got some work to do. I got to restart my computer and clean my computer screen. I will be doing spreadsheets. Actually, before I go, there's a couple things I need to do for you all. Let's see, is this charged yet? Nope. Tablet's not charged, so I'm going to tell you guys right now. Hold on a sec. So, I do a live show today. It'll be 4 to 9. For prepping purposes, we got to go over the prepping list. Let's see, is this a 15-minute? Yes. So, I got an appointment from 2 to 3, and then from 3 to 4, I get to rest. And then from 4 to 9, I have spreadsheets to do today. So, Chloe's got an appointment tomorrow, but I, on the other hand, am still very ill. And yesterday's incident has still done a toll on me. So today's goals have to be met. So I have accounting to do, financial papers to do, administrative duties to do. You guys there. So my point, I'm very, very ill. So still got to place food orders and some other items. I think I finished this one already, so I'm still working on that one. That's today. So spreadsheets till Friday. Yep. So all right, so all's looked at. I got some work to do. I want you guys to take it easy today. And just remember, start cutting corners. It's not going to get any easier. It's going to get worse. So I want you to prep like your life's on fire, and get her done. I will be checking in with you sometime today. In the meantime, Thanks for watching, everyone. And please add and subscribe. Please post comments. Please leave feedback, suggestions, hit the like, subscribe button, wholesome fun for your family, including your dogs, cats, bunnies, service dogs, service bunnies. Bell notification, thumbs up button, subscribe button. Keep the comments nice, all we ask, and school is out of session. Thank you, and God bless you in everything you do.